Okay, I think we're ready to get going here this morning. So let's do the introduction. So hello everybody, my name is Tim. I go by foamyguy online on GitHub and Discord. If you want to join us in the chat that's on the screen there, it's on Discord in the Adafruit Discord in the live broadcast room, so you can head there to join us in the chat. Or I'll try to keep an eye on the Twitch chat as well, so you can go there if you have questions or comments or anything as well. So let's go good morning to Johnny and Dexter, or at least it's morning here. I don't know if it's morning where you guys are at, but thanks for tuning in. I'm happy to have you guys, you folks here. So this one, this stream we'll start with some stuff that we've actually worked on before that we can carry on with now. And the second half of the stream, though, or the second thing that I'll work on is going to be a little further outside the norm for this stream, at least so far. I'll be playing around with ReactJS and a particular library called Polotno that I'm trying to learn about. Really, I'm trying to learn about it for work, but I figured I could come up with a way to kind of tie it together to CircuitPython a little bit and have a more sort of fun way to get some practice on it. So that's the other thing I'll be working on, which again is a little bit outside of the wheelhouse of just strictly CircuitPython stuff. So we'll be getting into JavaScript and in particular ReactJS, which is not something I have a lot of experience with. So that's why I'm trying to practice up. Let's see, before we go too far though, primarily the stuff I stream about is CircuitPython, and even that React project, we're going to tie it together with CircuitPython. So if you don't know anything about CircuitPython, if you've never heard about that before, this is the main page for it right here, circuitpython.org. CircuitPython, it's a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers, and it's really nice because it allows you to quickly and easily iterate through your code, which is good. Like if you're just trying to prototype something and get get it out and get it ready and get it running and see how it works and change it around and stuff. It's really good for that. It's also really good for learning how to program and how to get into electronics and stuff, because they have done a bunch of work to make it very easy to get started. So this is the main website again for CircuitPython. It's circuitpython.org. Primarily it's an open source project, so anybody is allowed to come and use it and contribute to it, but the primary financial support for CircuitPython comes from this company right here, Adafruit. So if you are interested in CircuitPython, if you want to help support the project, one way that you can do that is by purchasing hardware from Adafruit. So you can see right here, this is their website, adafruit.com. They sell those microcontrollers like I was mentioning before. This one right here, for instance, this is a, what is this? Itsy Bitsy M4. So that's a SAMD51 microcontroller. And a nice little package there with a bunch of pins for you to hook up all sorts of other devices to. So they sell the microcontrollers. They also sell all kinds of other things to do with them, right? Like breakouts and switches and LEDs and sensors and really anything that you could imagine that you plug into, again, electronic devices, microcontrollers. They will sell that sort of stuff, screens and all kinds of stuff like that. So again, if you like this stuff, if you want to help support it, this is one way you can do it by purchasing hardware from Adafruit. They pay folks to work on CircuitPython full time. Oh, happy birthday to MicroPython. They pay folks to work on the project full time. So, that's really cool. And I'm a big supporter of them because of that. So this stream here, this is not like a paid thing. I'm not getting paid by them to stream this stuff here on the weekends. I do work for them from time to time on guides and other software. And sometimes we stream about the stuff that we're working on for them. But the stream itself is just something I do for fun on the side here. So with that, let's catch up on the chat real quick. Let me shuffle some windows around. Let's get this here. Hey, Hugo. On mobile and tethered, so won't be able to join. No worries. I hope you have a good day. No notification. Of course, again, Chrome updates. Yeah, I gotcha. 5 in the afternoon. Okay, so then good afternoon for Johnny. Okay. So let's dive into the first stuff a little bit here. So a couple, I don't think it was last week. Last week, I think we were working on the library screenshotter. or the requirement screenshotter. I think that's right. Maybe the week before, though, we were working on this, which is the new CircuitPython org on GitHub, or I guess it's existed for a while, but we're kind of diving in to start using it now. We had moved these two new libraries into here. They were originally part of Display.io layout library that's in the main Adafruit bundle, but they're getting broken apart. We got kind of a lot of things in that library, and not all of them really deal with layouts. So these are getting broken out into their own repos instead of just kind of one gigantic one. And they're also getting moved into this CircuitPython org. And so the exciting thing on this front is that we now have read the docs set up. So this is the docs for the first one of them that's set up. This is the annotation. We can go here. It's got all the information in it now, and it does also have. It seems to be rendering all of the quote unquote fancy documentation. It seems to be rendering all the nice stuff that Kmatch in this case put together for it. So I think we are going to be good to go with these. And so the thing that we'll be working on is adding read the docs to the other one of these, and maybe breaking out one more of them from the layout repo and setting up a new new repo for it over here. So I don't know for sure if we'll do that. It kind of depends on time. I do intend to spend probably the biggest chunk of time on the ReactJS stuff. So I need to get some practice in on that, and so that's what I'll be doing. But I wanted to do another one of these just to keep it fresh in the mind and get in the groove and get another one done. So I'll start with that, switch around. And so we're mostly done on this one. The things it needs are to have a release made, which will now, it should make it go to PyPy. Kattni got PyPy set up for us. I need to remember to put a hug report in for Kattni this week. So PyPy is set up, and then read the docs I know how to do now as well. So let's set read the docs up for this one. We are going to grab the name of this because we need to go here. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be logged in. Let's see. I don't know if I know if I sign in with GitHub. I think I did. I should have been a little more ready for this. I usually use Firefox browser to stream on here, and I was logged in Chrome. Let me see if I have this handy or not. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. I got an extra letter in there. Let's see. Yeah. And yeah, why don't we go ahead and save it in there? That way we don't have to mess with it next time. So Display.io annotation, that's the one I added this morning. There's a bunch here that are Jose's, so we'll be getting these, I think, moved into CircuitPython org as well eventually. But right now we need to make a new one, which we do by saying this, import a new project. And so we could connect it to GitHub, I guess. I have not done that yet. I'm not entirely sure what happens if you do. What I've been doing so far is this one over here, though, import manually. So that's what we're going to do again, import manually, give it a name. So this is why I copied the name. We do need the repo URL, which is this right here. Put that in there. It is a Git repo. Default branch is going to be main. Whoops. Ooh. Default branch is main, yep. Main. And this is advanced projects. I don't know what's in there. I didn't do that last time, so I don't think we need to mess with it for now. Okay, do we need anything else? Let me just double check that I did a similar kind of thing with the name on the previous one. Yeah. Okay. So there's this stuff. We're gonna go next. So it says that it can't add the webhook because it's not connected to GitHub. That's okay, we expected that. What we need to do is we need to go here and we need to add an integration. So what happens here is we use a thing called Github Web Hooks, which will send an HTTP post request whenever a certain action on the repository happens. It can be set up on different actions. In our case, I think we use push and release actions. And we wanted to send a post to read the docs, essentially that tells read the docs like, hey, this repo's been updated. Please grab, build the latest version of the docs and show it in the read the docs page. So one thing I'm going to do is I am going to move this over to here real fast because I don't know if it shows anything on the next screen that we don't want it to. Okay, no, it does not yet. So I'll show you this. I'm going to bounce back and forth a little bit because one of these screens I think will have a token or something that we don't necessarily want to be public. I'll try to show as much as I can, but we don't want other folks to hook up to our webhook. So it's going to be this type right here, which is just the default one, a GitHub incoming webhook. So again, I'm going to scooch this over, make sure there's nothing private on this page, which there is. So the thing that's here is a URL. So I'm going to copy the URL, and then I'm going to leave that here, and we're going to go back to the repo. And so I have my URL copied. Maybe we could do like, let's see, can I? Let's see, what we could do is scroll this up all the way. This goes down some. Okay. I don't know exactly how this works. Maybe this is not a thing that it's super important to not be public or not, but just in case, I'm going to keep it hidden. So it's down below here. So I think this part is all fine, and I've got the rest of it down here. So this is what the page looks like after I did that last step to create the integration on the read the docs side. So we're going to leave this alone for just a minute. The next thing we need to do is in GitHub, we go to settings on the repo. We go to webhooks. So this tells you a little bit about what webhooks do. We want to add a new one, so add webhook. It needs my password, so I'm going to give it that. I will, let's see here, let's close that. We don't need it anymore. Can minimize that. You guys can look at this crazy ship on my background here for a second. Okay. And let me just make sure. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll go. This is the window after I logged in. So we're adding a webhook here. We're going to paste that URL that we copied from read the docs right into here, the payload URL. We want the content type to be JSON, so application JSON. We don't have any secret. And we do want to select individual events. We don't want to do only push. We want actually push and release right there. And that's it, I believe. So we need to paste the URL. So I'm going to do that. Paste. And I can go back to home there, so you can see the beginning of it again. So this is the beginning of it, which we saw on read the docs page, and so the end of it has that token in it. One thing is it says this doesn't look like a valid URL. I think maybe it wants HTTP in front, probably. Let's copy link location. Copy link. And let's put this one here. Okay, so I'll move this back. So now we have HTTPS : I think that's probably what it wants. So I think there's enough room. We can make this big. Yeah, and so it doesn't have that warning anymore, so that's good. I think we're good to go here. We selected the events. We got push. We got release. So we're going to go add a webhook. Okay, now the webhook has been added, so we can check back on read the docs. I think if we so let me scroll this a little bit. This is the read the docs page now. It's the same page I was on before. The link that I copied is like up here a little bit, so I'm not going to scroll up to it, but you can see now under recent activity, we have this 200 indicating that we got a successful post request 0 minutes ago. So I think at this point, when we come back to the repo here, now we have docs passing. We can click on this and we should have a live docs page. Yeah. Display IO switch around. There's a constructor. Got jump to sections. Okay, descriptions. I believe there are images in this one too. Oh, one thing is we'll probably want to update this part of the docs because those examples now will be in the new repo, which hopefully we included those. I think we must have, right? Did we? Yeah. So we've got those included there, so the docs will update to reference the fact that they are here instead of display layout. So this is looking pretty good. I'm going to try to scroll through here and see if we see any images. I'm not 100% sure if this one does have some. Doesn't look like it. Let's just make sure though. Let's make sure by looking in the repo. So I'm going to open PyCharm. Should have had that open before, but that's all right. Okay, so we will go open the, let's see, well, it's from last week, switch around, there it is, this window. Okay. That closed. Now we should be able to tell just by looking in project docs static. I think that's right. Let's just also open annotation because that one definitely has some. It's not inside build. Okay, so they're not inside static. They're actually in the root of docs annotation example. So it looks like we don't have any. So one thing we want to do is actually just make sure that's the case. So let's also open one more thing, the current display IO layout library here. New window. So it has annotation, Cartesian, dial variables, GUI layout coordinates. This is the switch, but it's more to do with the widget class than the switch class. It's just using the switch as an example. You might want to include that one though. Let's look at what the docs look like for switch round. I'm going to pull, I'm going to go to docs, so I'm already in docs. I'm going to build the docs. I'm going to open this file in the browser. I'm going to open this file in this browser. So let's look at switch around. That's looking pretty much the same. Yeah. And I guess the one image it does have is this, but I think this is not an image. I mean, it is an image on this page, but I don't think this is like a PNG file that gets included. I think this is from this inheritance diagram. So maybe we could make sure that we have that in the new one. We do not. So let's add that. We need inherited members. Weird. Okay, so let's build these docs now. Okay, we're already in docs. Unknown directive. So we need something else. We can't just add that by itself. Let's look in docs config. Yeah, this is what we need. Probably. Sphinx extension inheritance diagram. Wrong one. Extensions. There we go. Let's try running that again. Okay. Now we can check this file and see if it has diagram. We can do this. So it will be at the bottom. Maybe it would make sense to move it higher, I'm not sure. Oh, it does lay it out differently. Interesting. So it goes group. Widget extends group, control also, and then switch around extends both control and widget. And then these are functions that come from, and properties that come from parent classes, control, widget, group. Whereas this is just the constructor, I guess. Maybe some of those come from parent classes and some of them from this class. But anyway, this is looking pretty good. So let's go to here. We added the diagram in the conf. We also added the diagram in the API RST file to get it to show up. Do we need to do anything else? I think we are good here. So I think what we want to do is, since we already pushed the bulk of the code in, and we're really just making a change to fix something, I think we should go ahead and just make a pull request for it. So, and I think we can close this issue, right? Because we have docs now. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're good on that. Okay. Close that. And I probably don't have a fork of this yet, so that's what I'm gonna need. I do want to fork it as foamyguy. Need this. We're gonna make this a remote. Git. Oh, we probably want to go back one, I think. Git remote add foamyguy. Paste. Git fetch foamyguy. One thing is, let's see, I think the like primary remote set up to not be mine. Because, yeah. So maybe we should reclone this. Main. Not sure that I know the right way. I guess I could remove the remote CircuitPython and then make, and also delete this branch. Because I want, when I create a new branch and I do no track, it needs to make sure to go to foamyguy. And I'm not sure the exact right way to do that. So I think to be safe, I'm just going to reclone. Or I guess I don't need to make a new branch that way right now. Let me just do this. I can go new branch, or I can check out this. Or do I want a new branch from this? No, we can check out this. Do I want a new branch? Maybe I think I do want a new branch, actually. New branch name is update docs, or I'll be more specific, docs diagram. Create. So now we have docs diagram, which is pointed to foamyguy. Is that right? Doesn't show up in here. Doesn't say over here. I think I'm just gonna reclone it. This might work fine, but I'm used to seeing the name right here of the remote, and I don't see it there, and I don't know for sure where it's gonna push. And I do know if I just reclone it, then it will definitely do what I want. So let's go clone foamyguys, this one. It's a bummer that I already have this. Maybe what we'll do is let's close this for now. I'll switch around. So I'll go back and delete this afterwards. For now, I'm just going to tack on CP for CircuitPython org. Git clone mine. So since it has the same name as the other one, I think if I do this, it's going to open the new one. Yeah, these things are gone now. Let me actually open the old one as well. Okay, CircuitPython org also, new window. Okay, there's that. And then the extension, those are the only two things we changed. Conf. Extensions. Okay. So now we want to go do a few things. Git remote rename. Origin foamyguy. We don't want origin. And git remote add CircuitPython. Okay. So fetch this. I don't know if we need to do that. We probably don't. Oh yeah, it did. Brandon got something. Okay, so now finally we can go git checkout -b docs diagram CircuitPython main no track. Okay, so now we have docs diagram. I guess it still doesn't show here, but this is the way I always do it, so I know that it's pointed to the right thing. So we're gonna go commit. These are the two files. Let's just quick double check. Looks good. Looks good there as well. And I don't know how to spell inheritance. Or, yeah, no, I'm gonna mess it up for sure. Inheritance diagram in docs. Commit and push. No, this is gonna push. This is not gonna push to me. So we don't want to do that. We canceled that. Why though? 14 days ago. But we did no track. Shouldn't no track have made it not go to CircuitPython? I mean, I could just push to foamyguy main. Is there a way to list your branches and what remotes they go to? Git list branches. I guess PyCharm has this, right? Like here. Diagram. really say? Is the person who did it though? Mode. It's disconnected here. So is this gonna push? I think it's the way it says that makes me think it's gonna push to. Well, this is on main now. I could definitely do main, and that would be fine. But it's not really the best to use your own main branch either all the time. My opinion. If I go like this. Oh. So now it says foamyguy. Am I in the wrong PyCharm? Close this other PyCharm. Maybe that's a PyCharm bug. I swear that said CircuitPython last time. Aha! It does again now. What? Really like to be confident that I'm not going to push to CircuitPython. It's not that big a deal if I do. That's how we push the initial code in, but it's better to make PR. And also I want to make sure like I understand how this is working and do it correctly. I don't think that's going to be correct right now though. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to check out foamyguy main. Gonna delete docs diagram. Gonna make a new branch from foamyguy main. Docs diagram. This is definitely from foamyguy main. One thing is now I don't have that stuff again. Grab this back from PyCharm local history, which is kind of nice. Let's get this one also. And put those back. Okay. So now we're definitely in adding inheritance diagram to docs. On all of these. Commit and push. That does still say CircuitPython docs diagram. Is it because of the way that I already had this project before? Did it get like locked onto that? I guess let's push it and see if it seriously goes there. I mean, it's definitely going to though, right? I mean, can we change this? Okay, just change this. Okay, that's what we want. This is how it should look. We can just change it in there. I never knew that. So you get to choose which remote you want to push. So like a local branch is not tied to remote? Is that true? I don't know. This is what we want though. Push this. So this should show up in foamyguy only. It does. Foamyguy docs diagram has pushes. Here it says foamyguy docs diagram has pushes. Compare. Okay. Docs match the way they were in the display.io layout library. Display.io layout. I'll just say repo. Okay. Okay, so we can get the ball rolling. Oh, been covering up the chat ever since I got the Bluetooth back, probably. Sorry about that. Let's fix that. Okay. Now we have a PR in for that. That brings the docs up to line. Once this PR gets merged, we'll make a release, and then once we've made a release, PyPy should start working. Should get the thing uploaded to there. So, if anybody who is watching happens to be CircuitPython librarian or in the CircuitPython org, or even if you just want to help us out, it'd be cool if anyone wants to come leave a review. If you want to try building the docs locally or just checking out the code, but if somebody wants to leave a review there, whenever we get an approving review, we will merge that and then we can make a release. And then it should show up. That'll be the first release in PyPy for this repo. And then we'll be good to go. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and dive in on the ReactJS stuff instead of doing another one for right now. I might come back around. We'll see how it's going after a little while. I might circle back around and end up doing one more on the stream here, but I might just stay kind of heads down in the ReactJS. Depends a little bit how it goes. But I will be doing a bunch more of these over the course of the next, probably week or so until we get all the ones in display.io layout migrated over. And then eventually we'll go back and make PRs in that layout library to remove them from there as well. Okay. So I think I'm going to close down a bunch of this stuff that we don't really need for right now. And the things that I do need are let's see. So one thing is I joined the Discord for this, and this person who made it shared with me a really good resource. Yeah, so we can take that. Don't need that Discord. So these are the examples. So let me set the stage here just a little bit. So I'm going to be looking into ReactJS because this library right here called Polotno is built on top of ReactJS, and it's a ReactJS component, and I'm going to be trying to use this inside of something for work, but I've never messed with ReactJS at all before. So I need to kind of get up to speed on it, and I figured this would be a good way to do it. So this is like a design editor. So you get in the browser, which I think there is a, let's go open sandbox. There's a, this is not really it either though, right? This is Studio. This is what we want. There's a preview thing here. So this is pretty much what this design editor is. It gives you the ability to have text and images and simple elements like shapes. And you can upload your own images into it. And you can build up a page. So like this is your editing surface over here. You can say like, hey, I want some text on it, that says whatever you want. You can manipulate the text. So like if you want different size, you can can set whatever size you want. You can set colors here. If you want it to be red instead, you can do that. If you want to change it to a different font, you can do that. So there's a bunch of built-in fonts here. You can also upload different fonts. So there's a couple other options like, bold, italics, underscore, all this kind of stuff. Basically all the same stuff you're used to from sort of modern, editing tools. Like if you were inside a PowerPoint or, Photoshop or something like that. So you can grab images like this. You can drag them onto here. You can rotate with this thing here. You can scale with the anchors, right? Just like you would expect probably. So this will scale up and down, and it works on these as well, I think. So I can go here, scale this up and down like this. So this is pretty much just a basic editor that allows you to build up a page with images and text. And you can also do backgrounds. So if I select back over here, we can choose one of these to use as a background on the page. So I think what I'm going to do is... really, the thing I need to get practice with is integrating this page with a Django project, because the application that I'm working on is a Django application, which is a type of Python web framework. So some of this stuff, is going to be, again, pretty outside the realm of the normal kind of stuff that we get into on this stream. I'm not going to necessarily dive super deep into what all of these different things are. Mostly we'll be looking at this stuff at a high level, trying to just make it work together in the most basic way. But that being said, if folks are interested in these different things and, you want to know more about a certain aspect of it, I can certainly share what I know. But Django is the web framework that we're working with. And I think what we want to be able to do is build out one of these pages, and we want it to be set to the size of a PyPortal, so 320 by 240, I think. And you'll have all these same options, setting the background, setting the text, setting foreground images like this. You'll be able to move everything around the same way all this works. And then you can save that file as a BMP inside the server, so that will get saved as part of a Django model. And then once it's saved inside the server, you will be able to point your PyPortal at a certain URL and have your PyPortal download the image and show it on the screen. So at a high level, the thing that we're building is kind of like a really, really, really basic PyPortal signage management system. If you think of what's called digital signage, this is the stuff I work on typically in my day job. So digital signage could be anything from menu boards at a restaurant, or corporate office signage with welcome signs, or on a school campus there could be digital signage with classroom names and numbers or something like this. So what we'll be making is a really, really basic version of a digital signage management system that is made to work with PyPortals. So the PyPortals will hook up to it. It will tell the PyPortal, hey, you should play this image. The PyPortal then will download the image and show it on the screen. So at a high level, that's what we're aiming for. And you'll be able to create the image using this Palatno tool here. So I have already gotten a little bit of a start on this. Let me open this up. It's under this PyPortal signage system. Let's just open it in this window. And real briefly, I'll give you a kind of a quick tour of what we have so far. So let me just run this server. If you are not familiar with Django, this is the way that you run your server. Django has when you create a project, you get this file called ManagePy, and ManagePy helps you do a bunch of different things, one of which is run a test server here. So we now have a test server running on this address, which means we can go to here, localhost 8000, and we get back this page, which is nice because I just, the last thing I did really was start the work on the front end. We have a front end page, which is an index.html, and right now the only thing that's on it, which we saw in the browser there, is a hello world. So we don't have much going on the front end yet. That's what we're going to be working on today, is adding that Palatno designer to the front end and then hooking it up to have it save into the back end. And the back end is actually mostly set up already. If I go inside of here, the back end is what they call a Django application, which is just one of the units that Django uses. Django has projects, which are like the outer level, and then one project can have multiple applications inside of it. So in this project, I've got a back-end application and a front-end application. And my project is called PyPortal Signage System. So the front end we've seen, it doesn't really do that much. The only stuff that's in the front end is a URL and a view, which renders this basic page right here. The back end actually has a little bit more going on, but a lot of it is kind of quote unquote for free. We got it from this tool, which is the first time I actually used this, which is kind of cool, this REST framework right here. It's called Django REST Framework. We'll give them a quick shout out here, Django REST Framework, because this happened to be a really neat thing. I also happened to notice on Read the Docs, I found a page that looked like it came from this. So I think Read the Docs might actually use this Django REST framework. I'm not 100% sure. I just happened to see a page that looked the same. So what this thing does is it kind of lets you just define a few little things at the high level, and then you get an entire sort of REST API built up for you. So this is the page for it. I'm not going to go, again, into super deep details about all of these different things, but this is the page. If you're interested, you can look more into it. And then to show you what it does for us, we now have URLs like this, API plans. And this is what this Django REST framework gives us. It basically creates all these API endpoints. So this one right here is /API/plans. It returns a list of all the plans that exist. Plan, that's our model in this system. Model is the data, basically, that will get stored in the database. So we have a plan object. It's very basic. It has only a name and a content image. And so the idea is inside the content image, that's where we will store the thing that we save from Palatno. So we're going to store it inside this file field, and then it has a name just so we can put it like in a list or something and have the user like go and click the one they want to show or something like that. So that's it for the models. It's, again, very, very basic. Here's a list of the plans that exist so far. And so we can see this REST framework. It built this nice, pretty page for us so that we can look at this stuff. We could also just look at the raw response if we choose JSON right here. And so I have like Dark Reader or something turned on. I think it's making it look a little different. I also have a plugin that makes JSON data super nice like this, where I can fold and unfold everything. So this is actually just raw JSON. We could go raw data right here. This is the actual real data by itself. So got a bunch of different ways of prettying it up to make it nicer to look at, but this right here is the raw data. So Django REST framework set this endpoint up for us and allows us to fetch the data from it. So we can go back. We could take this format back off to go back to the nicer page like this. And the other thing that REST framework did is it creates individual URLs as well. So we have ID3, ID4, those are the plans that exist. If I tack on a 3 in the URL up here, I can go to that page, and now I am fetching the data specifically for this particular plan object, the one that has the ID 3. So this is the data from that, and we can go 4 if we want to see the data from that one. So this one, we can see it actually does have an image, content image in it. If we click on that, it will show us this image file, which happens to be the BMP that's in it. We can go back, I think. So that's this is essentially what gets stored in the database, is the name and the content image. So what we need to do is make a page that has Palatno on it, and then eventually we'll be able to hook that page up to save inside one of these content images. So that's where we're at. We are making a page on the front end that has Palatno on it. So right now our page only has hello world. So we need to make a page that's going to have Palatno. So I think what we want to do I think we want to make a new directory somewhere. Where do we want to put this? Do we want this in the root of the project, or do we want this inside the front-end app? I think we want this in... Feels like it should go inside the front-end app, but it's going to have to copy a file out to this templates folder. It'd be easier if it was up in the project root. I think that's fine though. I think we want it inside of the front end app. So let's put it in there. Okay, so I'm already inside front end. The thing I need to do is make a new React project, I guess. The tool you use to do this is called npx, I think. Let's see here. Let me pull up one of the other resources I was working from. Let's do that. Let's do this actually. Start with this one. This is the main ReactJS tutorial, so I just did this one the other day. Get an interactive. So we need to go back to where they create the app. Let's see here. Maybe this is not the best one to start with. I don't really have. Let me see npx. It doesn't say npx anywhere on here. Step-by-step guide. Maybe it was in step-by-step guide. Local development, yes. Installation instructions for create React app. Yeah. Yeah, this is what we need. So this will create a React app, I think, or maybe a Node app. I don't know. One thing you'll find is, again, I'm very green to a lot of this stuff, so I might, very possible I use the wrong terminology for some of this stuff. If any folks in the chat are web developers who have experience with this stuff, feel free to chime in if I bungle the name or am misunderstanding some concepts. But this creates the React app for us, I think. So we want to run that. npx create React app, create React app, and we don't want to call it my app. We want it to be design page. Design page. So this is going to create a folder inside front end, which has a bunch of stuff inside of it for Node, I think, JavaScript, Node.js, and for React.js, and other stuff probably. There's a bunch of stuff in it. As you'll see here, it takes like a minute to run. Eventually it will print out a thing that says like how many things it downloaded or something. And there's a ton. So this is still something I'm kind of getting used to, this idea of like compiled JavaScript where in order to start writing a project, you have to download 100,000 libraries. Or what? Yeah, like we got almost 2,000 packages from 700 different authors, which is kind of insane on the face of it, but is how JavaScript development is done, I guess, these days. So now we will have design page right here. So this is all the stuff it created. It created a Node modules folder. That's where Node is installing these libraries or modules inside of. So inside of there should be some stuff for React and all kinds of other things it needed in order to build. Inside of source, this is where we would put like our own code. So we're going to be modifying the stuff inside of here. And yeah, so let's try to Let's get this to where, because I think there's like a super basic page in here. We could test it actually. We can go, in fact, this tells us right here how to test it. We can go inside the folder we created, design page. We can go npm start. This will run the server. This will run a Node.js server serving this page that we just created. So if we pull that server up in the browser, this is now the page right here. So it's very basic. It just has this little spinning thing on it. So the first thing we need to do really is we want to get it to where instead of this being served at localhost port 3000, which is where Node is serving it automatically right here, instead of that, we want it to be the root of the Django project. So when we go here, localhost 8000, we're getting this hello world page. We want this React app to get served in place of this hello world page. So let's work on hooking that up. I think the way we can do that, well, there's a couple of different ways. I mean, we could like, inside of here, we could say instead of rendering index.html, we could say like render a redirect to localhost 3000. Technically, that would do what I just said, but that's not really what we want. What we want is to build the React page, like compile it into a quote-unquote regular web page with an index.html. And then we want to point this render method at that index.html. So in order to build this React app, we can kill the server for now. We don't really need the server running, actually. In order to build it, it's called npm build or npm run or something like this. Let me grab, I have another, let's do it this way. I'll pull this over here for a second. I have a script that does this, but it's in a different project that is more for work that we don't necessarily want to show too much of on the stream. So let me download, well, not download, let me grab the script I'm thinking of here. This is called what? Here we go. Is in here? Okay, that's all fine. So we're gonna grab this. Now I have that copied. We're gonna put it into here, which is inside of design page. I'm gonna paste this. I'm gonna call this something different actually. This is gonna be build and move, because this script is gonna be responsible for building the ReactJS app and copying it into the place where Django is going to be expecting to find it. So this says run build, and then it says find. So one thing is we will need more dots here because we're going to go up another layer. We need to get stuff stored inside a static. We don't actually have yet. Let's make a static. And inside a static is going to have a JS. So this is basically going to delete all of the old version of the React app and then copy in all of the new version of the React app. And then lastly, the very last thing it will do is copy the index.html, which will get built into templates directory, which is where Django will expect to find it to render from a view. Whoops, sorry about that. Okay, so static is actually 2 levels up from here because we're inside design page, which is inside front end, which is on the same level as static. So we need to go up. Yeah, up 1 would be inside a front end. We want to go up again to get inside the project root. One thing is, let's turn this off so that we're not actually deleting. We want to actually copy. Yeah, we could actually copy. Why not? Yeah, let's do that. So this will not delete anything, but it will copy new ones in. We're going to need the same thing here because that's up an extra thing. Here, this will be different. Templates, this is going to go to templates front end. I'm going to keep this actually called Palatino Designer. Right here we have index. We'll change the template we're rendering to Palatino Designer. So copy build index over to templates. Yes, one thing is this needs to go up an extra one also. Whoops. Here's this. Okay. Okay. Oh. Arm is a little sore. I got my second shot of my vaccine yesterday, so had a little bit of a sore arm and didn't sleep super well, but other than that, I didn't really have much in the way of side effects. Feeling a little sluggish maybe, but not too bad really. But if I seem a little sluggish today, that's why. Do we need to do anything else here? I think this is probably fine. The one thing is, I don't know if this will run. From the root of the project, or if this will run from where it's at. Let's try, whoops, let's try actually, let's not copy these yet. Let's just print. So we got print deleting, we got print copying. So we should see some of these get printed if everything's working. We're gonna run this, it's gonna run the build, which takes a minute. It's got 2,000 libraries to do stuff with or something. Okay, so it built it, and it says copying all these things, which it didn't actually do, but we could look and see what it generated. So it would have built all of this stuff right here. It built an index.html, that's what we're gonna copy. And it also built these files, which have CSS, JS, and media. Probably don't want to call that media if we can avoid it. Because Django already has an idea of media. Let me look at the code for this. One thing is that right now this is not happy because there's just XML right inside of JavaScript, because that's a new thing. That's part of this ReactJS. And I need to change my setting in PyCharm so that it's knowing that I want to use this flavor of JavaScript, basically. So I click that, and that kind of tells it, yes, we're using this JSX stuff. So now it's happier here. So this is one of the weird things about React, is that you can just have like literal XML inside of JavaScript. So I was looking to see if anything in here referenced media. It says source logo. This is it, right? This is like, where is it getting that from? I see, from, whoa. So import logo from /logo svg. Is this declared in here? No. Okay, let's just work on copying it over and see if it causes us a problem to start with. I think the way, though, that this is having a folder called media is going to throw some things off because we have a different folder already called media. I guess it will it end up at /static/media? Maybe. So this did print out a bunch of stuff that it was going to copy. One thing is we're only copying JS files. We really want to copy CSS and I guess media as well. So let's go directory CSS, directory media. Again, we'll probably try to change the name of this, but let's just get it going with the name it has first. So we're going to need to delete some more things. Need basically one for each of those folders, CSS, media as well. This will clear out all the existing ones. Let's make sure that's working by manually copying these over. So let's grab CSS, JS, and media, all three of these, and we'll paste them into here so that they get merged with these. So now when we run this, it would tell us that it's deleting these files. Gotta wait on the build again. I guess we could comment out the build, but it's good to get used to it, I guess. Went a little faster that time, actually, so... Okay, yeah, so deleting, all of these we're deleting, and then all these are copying, so that's looking pretty good. We got JS files, we got our CSS file, got our SVG, that's... Oh, that's deleting, though. Oh, because we only did deleting. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So now we under copying right here, now we would have a few more of these. There's probably a better way to do this. Maybe I could have a list and a for each. Whoops. Copy files. This is delete files up here. I don't know why this is mad. Want some more spaces or something? Oh, it just doesn't like the way there's multiples. Okay. Have it your way then. Do that. Oh, come on. Delete the old files, copy the new files. Let's turn on the actual copying. And let's turn on the actual deleting. And then lastly, let's do this one too. So we're going to take build index.html. We're going to put it inside of up templates front end no designer HTML. That sounds right. So let's run this. Nope. So these are needing one more this. Probably would be good if we had like better way to handle this. Yeah. Let's make this better now instead of just putting it off. Let's go. Ders is a list with JS, CSS, and again, media we'll say for now. Actually, let's see if this works first. We can keep this line. It's not doing anything. Let's see if this works though, and then make it better if it does. Nope. These are in the wrong folder. This is all the CSS files. This is all the media files. It's probably broken here and here. Okay, now we got it successful. So inside of static, should have all these generated files. And inside of front end, we should have pull out no designer. And now on our view, we want to say pull out no designer instead of index. Why is that? Why did this not change to green, I wonder? Interesting. Maybe well, I don't have Git set up yet, but I mean, this is green and these are yellow. Interesting. Oh well. I think that should be good. So what if we go back now to this and refresh? Not quite. So we got React app. So it did change to the page, but it does not have the rest of the stuff on it. So it did not load the JavaScript properly. Or any of the CSS or the logo. So that looks right. I think maybe I need to add something to settings. Yeah. That's main 107 something something. Yeah. Which is inside static JS. So that should be there. So I think we have a Django configuration problem. Let's look in settings Py. I think we need a static URL. We need a static root or something also. It's managing static files. So we got static URL. Make sure static files is in the installed apps. Let's do that. Static files. Set your static URL. This is a little different. This does say in a folder called static in your app. So in my case, that would actually be front end /static, which I don't have currently. I have static at the root, which is how I'm more used to doing it. I see. So I think we need this, and we need that top one. We don't need var www. We're not on a server yet. We do need this. Baster. Is this going to try to divide? Does that really work? This has that notation also. What, half? Interesting. Okay, must be right. Baster, that's the project root, and then static. So that is where our stuff is at now. That's what we want. Let's save that. Let's make sure that this Django app gets rerun here. It should happen automatically, but never hurts just to hit it again anyway. Let's check this. Okay, so now we got JavaScript back. So that's perfect. Let's close that and let's see if we get a page here. We do. Okay. So now we are serving the React front-end page at the root of our Django server from a specific app with a view. This view right here, index view. And so now at this point, we can change the code that's in app.js, possibly index.js. But I'm not sure if we need to do that. Definitely this one, though. And once we change it, we can run build and move. And that will build it into this folder build, and then copy it into templates here and JS files here, as well as CSS and media files. And this is working. So do I want to mess with changing it, or do I just want to leave it? Where did we get the assets from? We did get a failure here. Looking for logo 192. So we got static media logo SVG. I guess that's fine, because it has static media instead of just media. Be nice though if we could just, I think if that were called image, it would make more sense, but I guess we had sounds, we could put them in there. Let's look ReactJS change media folder. See if that gets us anywhere in the public folder. Import images into a component. This is not really. Assets folder. Be fine with assets instead of media. Components. What do we have inside a public? Or a public? This is the main index HTML, as well as all the rest of these files. So these are actually not being copied and served properly. So I guess the thing is, technically, we really need to copy these files into static here as well. Let's work on a few things, actually. Back this up just a hair. Let's work on making this better so it's not copy pasted, because we have this now. Let's go for enders. So for each directory, we're going to do this. And here be the directory name. Here as well. Okay, so now this will go through all the directories, and we only need this code once. One thing is, though, I guess we're going to want to delete the things that are in the root of static also, which we're about to be putting there from all of these, but it's not looking in the root of static for these. It's does this said it failed? Okay, this is not the right. There we go. Yeah, these failed. And that just says root localhost 8000 /. So if I copy that into static, it's not going to be finding it from there. We don't have an easy way to just dump it in the root in a Django project, because Django is handling all of the URLs and routing and everything. I mean, it could be hooked up, but it's not typically the way that you serve individual files. Typically, you'd put them inside a static. Can we... I mean, is that just in here? Yeah. This says, yeah, okay, so we can just change it here, right? We could say, instead of public, so this is interesting. I've never seen this type of percents before. So I think if this were static, manifest also. Whoops. Static. Same thing here. Okay, so now this will look inside a static for these things. So now if we make this script also, so let's do this while we're here. So for loop, and we only need one of these now. The same thing we did up there. Format dir. Say what we're copying, and we copy it here. Dir. And right here, whoops. Dir. Okay. Get rid of these two. Now this is nice and short. For all of these directories, do that, delete them, then copy them, then copy the index, and the other thing we want to do is delete all the things that are in the root of static, because we're about to put some stuff there. So we will make one more of these that says for file in os.lister up static print file. So the thing is, I only want files that are not directories. So I could use some, I'm sure there's some kind of OS API like is directory. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but in this case, all of the files I want have dots in their name, and all the directories that I don't want do not. So I think we're just going to use that. So we will say if dot in file, then we want to print it. This will only print files with a dot in the name. And eventually, actually we might as well just do it this way. Say deleting, and then eventually we will delete them, but at first, we'll leave this commented out. It'll be up static, and then file. Yeah. So this will print the stuff that it thinks it's going to delete, but not actually delete it. So let's copy that stuff in. Okay, so now it should print all of those files for us. Beginning of this script. And the other thing is, since we copied these into static, and we're not deleting them, we should be able to go back to the page and it should have the fav icon and stuff working correctly now. But yeah, this does say deleting, and it's correctly listed those files. Asset manifest, index we don't need to copy, because we're already moving that somewhere else. So if dot is in file and file is not equal to index.html. Here we go. Excuse me. Okay. It does have a dot, and if it's not index.html, then we delete it. I mean, I guess this won't be a problem here. Let's cut this. We'll use this elsewhere. If it has a dot in it, then say that we're going to delete it. Down here, and here is where we care about this. For file in os.lister, this is build. So loop over all the files in the build folder. This is where we have this. If there's a dot in the name, and if the name is not index.html, then we want to copy it to this directory. So here we say sh util.copy build this file, current file. copy it to up static file. So I think I'm feeling a little feisty, so let's go ahead and just turn that on the first time. So loop over all the things inside of the static folder. If they're not a directory, or if they don't have a dot in the name, delete them. Loop over all the files inside of all three of these directories, which are also inside static. Shadow's the outer name, dir. It's just mad because these two are the same, I guess. Interesting that file is not. We have file here and here. Is this a built-in? Yeah, maybe that's a built-in. We probably don't want to use it. It seems like it was working, but if it's built in, we don't want to necessarily use it. Get paused on the tunes. Yeah. Let's put those back. Okay. I think this will do what we want. Give it a try. Nope. It is a built-in function, and I forgot to replace it somewhere. Once again. Okay, that finished successfully. So on this page now, we could refresh, and theoretically we should get, yeah, we got favicon loading now in this logo 192. So that's now working correctly because we copied those files, and I guess also robots text and any of the other things that we just copied into there. So that's all working good now. Oh, we failed our actions back here. James has got a fix for us. Maybe we need to add graphiz. After actions install, so that the docs build on GitHub. In this locally, I was able to build the docs and see the inheritance graph. Source actions CI install. After. Let's do that. Hate to bounce right in the middle of what I was working on with React, but I'm feeling a quick little break here as well, and I want to see if we can get this in today. So sudo apt. Do we have this in here? Annotation is inside build YAML. Where is this at? This is up a ways. Source, it doesn't. In this one, it just has install things. Is this what it failed for too, or was there some different reason it failed? That looks like the reason why it failed. Okay. So James says we need to add apt install graphiz after source action CI install so that the docs build on GitHub. Would it just go inside of run? Interesting that we don't have it here. For annotations. Maybe annotations does not have that inheritance diagram. Doesn't. So that's probably why. Whoops. Let's look inside display layout, and it should be in that one, I would think. Okay, it has a whole separate, I'm glad I looked here. It just has a whole separate section for it. So is that the same? Is this here or no? No, it doesn't have that. And this one, I guess, doesn't need it. But switch around does. Oh, I'm a little tired today. Let's see. Okay, so this one's got the install dependencies. And then pip install Pylon Sphinx pre-commit. So I think we should probably do it the same as this one, which has a whole section or whatever this is called for it. And it's underneath this one. Yeah. Okay. Save that. Commit. Add graph is install 2 actions. Oh, sorry folks. Foamyguy docs diagram, that's right. Push. So now we have a new commit and it will retry. And if it passes this time, then hooray. And if not, we'll figure out why. Okay, let's go back to React thing. Where are we? This serves now. I think actually I'm gonna take a quick break here and run to the restroom and then come back. Let me do that before I get dived in too much further. So yeah, I'll be right back in just a minute or two here. We'll go switch to waiting. I'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So, it's probably not done yet, I'm guessing. No. Let's see, try to keep an eye on how that goes. I think the next thing we're ready to do in this React world is put the designer thingy on our page. Yeah, I think so. So let's, I got some examples. Here. So this, I don't think is the one I want to use because, yeah, this one basically just has create demo app, which is very, very, very high level. I guess we could do it and see if it works. Let's do it and see if it works. One thing is we will need to install this somehow. Darn. That's what I installed. Let me go to the quick start page. Yeah, this is what I need. npm install Palatno. So we're back to here, terminal. We're inside of design page. Makes sense, that's where we want to be. npm install Palatno. This is going to download a bunch of stuff and get it ready for us. Oh, my chat's been frozen. Darn it. I wonder why that's been frozen. I'll try to keep it in the front here. Sorry, folks. Let me catch up here. So Johnny said delete them, then copy them. Sounds fun, futile, but fun, yeah. Really don't like the file system support in Python. Always end up needing to import stuff to do the simplest things, like checking if a path points to a file or directory. Yeah, that's true. And James is here as well. Hey, thanks for checking out the thanks for checking out my PR, Lay Samurai. I appreciate you looking into that and catching the thing with Graphiz there. Let's see if this is still running. Okay. Try to make sure my chat stays in the front over here. Hopefully it will not get frozen like that. Maybe I should just use the real Discord window instead of the browser. That might be worth it. Okay, so this installed a bunch of stuff, including the main thing we want, which was Palatno. So we could, I think, now inside of app.js, theoretically, this could be now this thing. Without any frameworks. Let's try this. So we don't really need a logo. We don't really need an app CSS. We don't really need all of this stuff either. This is exporting app though. This is not exporting anything. So maybe we would want to keep app. This is where, unfortunately, folks, you'll have to bear with me. I know this might be a bit of a trudge, but this is the stuff that's real new to me that I really got to get my hands dirty with. So if you're used to this kind of stuff, you might be screaming at your screen about what am I doing? But truth is, I've never done this before. Do we want to keep app? I think. Okay, let's get rid of logo. Let's try keep, but we wouldn't. What are we going to return? We don't have anything to return here. Let's look at. Get this again. This says index.js. This is more generic. This is like generic JavaScript, kind of more so than in the React component or whatever. It's creating a store. Okay, well, we're definitely going to need to import. It's good to have this print thing so we know if we're getting this far. We'll leave. Do we want to leave app CSS? I guess let's leave it, but comment it out. Eventually, if we make some CSS that we want to apply, we could put it in there. Now I think we could just have it like that. So import create demo app starting. Maybe we don't need to export anything, I guess. Maybe we could just put our code in here. I didn't copy the rest of it. This is like a demo key. I got an actual key somewhere as well, but this one's not mine. Would this work? So one thing is, now that this build and move works, I could run this every time and it would keep doing it, but it is kind of nice, I think, to not have to wait every single time we make a change. So I might go back to using the npm test server, since I know that I have the rest of this set up and working now and that I can use it when it's time. Because this will be how it has to work with this build and move. It's going to have to do this in the production environment. It's going to have to build the file and copy it all over. So we got no static. Yeah, that's going to be a problem, I think. Because we have to have those JavaScript files, or else this is not going to run for sure. So let's go back to here. We can run start. And that took over the chat. Let me close that. And I don't think it's going to be working properly. Yeah. So it's really expecting for app to get exported. So maybe what we want is all the stuff that was here, and we put this const inside of app history. Let's bring this stuff back. Do we need to return? Maybe we don't need to return anything. We don't need to return anything? We definitely don't need to return this stuff. That's for sure. Maybe this would go in here. And I guess also probably this. Let's print this thing out as well. If it gets created successfully. So this one says compiled successfully now. So I think we can go back to using localhost 3000 for the npm server. Okay. We started to load there. Nothing was returned from render. This usually means a return statement is missing. Render nothing, return null. And we don't want to render nothing, but it did seem like it started drawing all the stuff we did want to render, so maybe we don't need to return anything else. Yes. So now we're getting close. We have the basics of the editor on the page. Next thing we need, though, is it actually wants some CSS. Should close some tabs down. I got too many here. So we need these CSS files, which we should download copies of and put inside. But for now, we're just going to use these web links. So we could edit index to add 2 links to CSS files. Should just work automatically. Okay. So this stuff is all better now. We have icons. These are correctly having a margin between them. One thing is our editor area is broken. It doesn't seem to exist. I think that's because I think we still need a few CSS rules. Const app. Okay, here's one that uses this app sort of like notation or whatever. So this will eventually be more like what I'm doing. And they're explicitly adding the things they want, like a workspace and a toolbar. Yeah, this will be more like what I'm doing eventually. For right now, all of those different things are all coming from this create demo app. So I think I want to get this one working correctly, and then we will start doing it like this, where we kind of like specify the individual components. Activity. So I think this right here, whoops. I'm pretty sure I need this style. Although I don't know why it didn't really say. Guess we can just grab those. I thought there was somewhere on this page that said more specifically that you need to use those. It's all about stores, which are one of the individual components, which we're not there yet. Maybe let's look. No. I don't know where I saw that. This is passing now. Sweet. Thanks again, Lay Samurai, for checking this out and pointing me in the right direction there. Where did I see that? I could have swore. I mean, I guess let's just add it. Let's not take too much time, but could have swore somewhere I saw that documented more. So I think what we want is this. This root element needs to have size. Right now it's just a div, and it doesn't have anything giving it a size. Maybe we should be using app CSS. Let's get rid of all this stuff. And let's go root. So these are not strings. Let's turn this import back on. See what that does. Yeah, there we go. Now we have an actual editor surface, and it works properly. Can resize and rotate and all the stuff. Okay. Text also. Okay. So that's looking good. At some point we'll need to figure out how to set the size to hard-coded PyPortal 320 by 240. I think the next thing to do though is try to break it out and do it more like this one, where we are declaring more of these things individually, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna need to do that and react to them. Let's see. This is not great, I think. Okay. Well, so this is uploading. This is not what we need. This is uploading basically the images that show up here. Like right now, these are getting pulled from Unsplash, which is a free online image. You know, it's like iStock photo basically, but they have images that are more permissively licensed usually. I think that's saying like if we wanted to upload images into there, which I guess we might eventually want to let happen, but I think the very first thing I really want to do is figure out how to, maybe instead of a download button here, we could have a save button somewhere. And I think when we save it, we want it to go, again, we want it to go into one of these API plans. We want it to go into one of these plan objects with the image that Palatno, with that image that it created as the content image. So when we save, we should take our canvas, convert it to a BMP, which we might have to do in the back end with Pillow or something like that. We'll worry about BMP after the fact, actually. We'll just do PNG or whatever's default first, but we want to save it into the content image of a plan. So how do we do that? So basically we don't want to download, we want to save right there, I'm pretty sure. So, and this is for uploading, which I don't think is what we want. How to change the fonts. Okay, store is the basic model. Has 90% of the API functions are inside store. That's good to know. So we got multiple pages going on here. We got an active page. We can delete pages. We can add new pages. This is width and height of everything. So if we wanted to set this to 320 by 240, this would be where we do it on the store. I think we have the store already, right? Yeah, we could say, can we just do that? Store.width 320, store.height 240. Whoops, equals. So would that just work? Maybe that would just work. I think. No. Oh, we got an error. Cannot modify. Cannot modify. So one of the things about ReactJS is very anti-mutability. Doesn't really like you to just mutate properties like this. I probably should have known this wasn't going to work. Can only be modified using an action. An action would that be? So we can't do this. Can we pass in the config a width and a height? I don't know about that either. That got ignored. Doesn't crash anymore, which is nice, but didn't actually work either. Set size. Got to keep reading. Got to keep reading. Should really look at the rest of the documentation. So set size. That's what we want. It takes an object with the width and a height. So let's do that. Let's get these back out of here. Here we're gonna go store.setSize object width 320 height 240. Back in front, back to here. Arrow while converting width to number. Value is not a number. It's true, it's an object. Set new size of every page in the store. Hmm. Doesn't seem like it likes this, but that looks pretty much the same as what they're doing. It seems like it's expecting a single number. I don't really know what the rest of this stuff is all about, but let's take a quick stroll through here. So this is one of the things that scares me about using some of this stuff is like there's so much going on inside of here that I don't understand. Like very little of this page really makes any sense to me, which is going to make troubleshooting kind of difficult, I think. This is my code here. Let's just try putting a number, I guess. I mean, how would we do both width and height, though? This is what it says here. Maybe it's because... Maybe it's because this is not technically a store. Like, it has... The variable has the name store, but the type would be this... create demo app. It's maybe not actually a store, even though they gave it that name. Let's look at what this prints. Is this actually printing anything? Interesting. I wonder if that's our stuff or their stuff. We actually got 3 things printed here. Why would we have gotten 3 things printed? Is there a store on this? Like maybe this is higher level and it has a store? An active page. Save as image. That sounds relevant for when we want to save it into the file field. So this does have a set size. We call... So one thing is I don't think I can manipulate this in the console. Like, I think if I do this, it just doesn't exist anymore. Which is a bummer. It's the way this gets loaded as a module or something like that. Not 100% sure. It has a set size, but that's just not working. Store.setSize 320. See what that does. Okay. So, yeah. So 240? This? Maybe the docs are just out of date. Yeah. Now this is 320 by 240. And it zoomed it way in, but like this will be massive compared to it, so we'd have to go way down if we wanted to use that. Oh, it's hard to move. Interesting. It's hard to move a thing when it's outside of the canvas. Okay, so we got the size setting. I don't know how the docs are built. I would be happy to make a PR. Let me just take a real quick peek around here. This is the store overview. There's overview. Store. Yeah. This is store.md. So we could just fork this and make a PR. I mean, it seems like this is not supposed to be an object anymore. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe it used to be an object at some point. Or maybe it makes a difference if we use an actual store versus this create demo thing. Maybe we should try that. Yeah, let's try that. Which one of these had a little more in it? This is workspace. Try this one. This looks like it's mostly the same stuff, but all broken apart a little bit more. Instead of just one create demo app, we actually have a toolbar and all these things separate. One thing is this does have some XML, HTML with it, which we need. So here we were returning null. I'm gonna comment some of this out. It's gonna get a little messy here just because, like, again, I'm super duper new to all of this, so I'm trying to keep everything I find copy paste for later if I need it. So no longer creating each of those. Hey, Hugo. It's setting these equal to the store. I think we need to create a store still. Yes. We need to do this. I'll probably be going for a little while still, maybe 20 or 30 minutes, something like that. We're gonna get create store, and we want to call create store this. Let's go again. You know, gonna get ugly, but let's we're gonna keep all this around for just in case. Might switch back to it or copy some more stuff from it. I'll just keep using this key. There'd be an easy way for me to let's try to do this. This will be kind of interesting. We want a JavaScript file. No key.js. Lot no key. is this string right here. If I save this here, and again, this is not my real key, this is the demo one that's in all the sample code. This needs to be variable, const. So now inside of here, we could say something like this, right? Import. We need those? I don't know. Polotno key from Polotno key. And then here, can say Polotno key. Does that still work? Okay. Yeah, it doesn't have any pages, but I assume it worked. Maybe. Yeah, it seems like it worked. So one thing is we would want to set the size, and I guess we would want to create a page. Let's do that. Set size and add page. Is it add page, I think? Oh no. Broke a power supply. Oh. Shorted. That's a bummer. Sorry to hear that, Joni. It's interesting there's an add a page button. That's kind of nice. I like that it lets you, that it prompts you to do that. I think we want to go store. We want to do this though. We had add page, no parameters. So if we just do it like this, we should get a page that's 320 by 240, which we did. Sweet. We don't have a download button, I just noticed. We'll need to probably get that back. Might be related to the toolbar. This key does seem to be working, so what I'm gonna do is put my real key inside of here, but then I won't open the file up anymore. So I'm gonna scoot that to this screen so that no one sees it. We're gonna go find our actual key. Let me this over here. Yeah, keys, login. Yeah. Let's just go here instead then. Okay. Get that copied. We're gonna paste it. We're gonna close this file. We're gonna bring this back. Our key is inside of there, but we're not gonna open it anymore. We're just gonna make sure this still works. It does. One thing we haven't done in a minute, we've just been using the NPM server, so I think it's probably gonna be good if we do go ahead and run this build and move and just make sure that it's still working on port 8000 as well, because that's the port that Django is serving. Oh, nice. Yeah, that sounds cool. LEDs under the monitor. I've been thinking about putting LEDs somewhere that point to the... I got a green screen behind me, but I picked up some of that reflective stuff that JP was working with at one point, and I was thinking about giving that stuff a try. We got a file not found for build static media. because we no longer have logo.svg. Let's just do we want to just cut media? Yeah. If we end up adding anything as static media, we could put it back. But I think it's fine to just get rid of for now. Let's try running that. Yep, repurpose an ATX. I already broke 2 of them. Uh-oh. Yeah, I had a ATX power supply that blew out on me when I was driving a 3D printer with it. The replacement did alright though. I've not had any problems with the replacement. So this looks all good. Let's check port 8000. Just make sure we get the same page, which we do. And it's 320 by 240. Yes, okay, we're looking good so far. What do we want to do next? We probably need to figure out about the toolbar. Is we don't do we want a download button? Well, very big. We have the toolbar. The toolbar's got some stuff on it. This is one of the cool things about this. It keeps a whole stack of undo, redo history for you, so you can always go back through all the stuff you've done. Ended up... We're kind of like we have the toolbar, but it's just different. It doesn't have all of the same stuff. What if we put a text? Awfully big. We don't really need it to be that big. Running out of ATX supplies, ordering some from Ali. Meanwhile. Yeah, I have no real experience with it. I ended up just buying one from local store, Micro Center. Be nice. Just kill that. Is it gone? Huh. Be nice if we could zoom with the mouse wheel, but doesn't seem. Interesting. Doesn't seem to do it. Maybe there's a way we can hook it up. Really need that. Meanwhile is the thing. It's good to know. Okay. So this has a toolbar. It gives it a store. This creates a div. Ah, here we go. It's got a color picker. Numeric input. So let's just try to get the download button back. Got a download button enabled. True. Seemed like everything else pretty much was there. We got text with all of this stuff. This is not great how this runs outside box. Did I zoom this to something weird? I did, but that's not fixing it. I mean, I guess maybe we would customize these things that get listed here and just make some that aren't so big. Be nice, I think, if it didn't do that, though. Does it do that in the demo? So let's say we can either do that stuff. Or we want to, instead we could do just this stuff up here. Okay, so we're going to create demo app. This can use our key. Got rid of the import. Okay. Let's try it like this and see if it still goes outside of the, it does. You know what? This is not updated, though. Because we still don't have download either. So the thing is that I would not be able to see the new version on that port. We would need to go to this one, which is served by npm. A thing, right? So we need return null. I had no idea there was oldies in Europe either. Oh. Okay, so this should be happier now. Yeah. We do have this button back. Yeah, no, these are better, actually. That's good. That means we have a way to fix this. Ooh. Okay. We're gonna go back to this one with all these things broken out, and I guess one of these needs to be this. It is just hard coded to 300 pixels. How do we know what size we would want it, though? Definitely better. Be nice if we could make the default sizes a lot smaller for the use of PyPortal. Use case of PyPortal. So we really don't need this to be that big. This is looking better now, though. Let's get that download button turned back on. That would be on Toolbar. We want true. There we go. Okay. So this is ready to save the file. So we need to basically hook onto this, and instead of having it try to save the file from the browser, like instead of having it prompt the user to save the file, we want it to basically send a post back to the Django backend to kind of save that file in there. How on earth would we do that, though? So, download button customization. One thing is we can check on this. Let's see if this works or if that gives us an error still. So if this still gives us an error, I think, yeah, not a number. So that does. I think what I'll do is, since I'm in the Discord and this person seems pretty responsive, I think I'll just drop them a note in there first and ask if they want me to make a PR. Stored set size. Documentation might be out of date, possibly. From the docs page. Already changed it back. Oh no, it's got backticks in it. That's terrible. Let's go to image then, I guess. Hmm. Okay. See if they get back to us on that. I don't know how much more I'm gonna get done necessarily, so we didn't really get into the PyPortal part of this. Would love to figure out how to hook onto this. So we have a store.save. Yeah, I don't think Aldi near me has stuff like that typically either. It's like food, and occasionally they have other stuff like more general stuff, but I don't think I've ever seen something like a power supply. So back at store. History methods, that's helpful. To JSON. That seems helpful. We could serialize this as JSON and store it in the database that way. Maybe instead of an image, or in addition to an image. Interesting. We can create a store and call load JSON. So that's how we would load it. Convert store to a base 64 URL. Know what that does. 4.2 data URL. I'm type image PNG. That does actually sound like what we might need. Data URL. Let's see what this stuff does. Save as image will export a drawing into an image and save it as a local file. By default, it exports just the first page. You need to export other pages past the page ID property. It seems like pages are only kind of supported. Like, they have a concept of multiple pages, but like, I don't see any way to change to a different page, for instance, in this default UI. There's an API for it, but not in this default UI here. That's all right though. I don't really need the concept of pages, I don't think. Like, I'm always gonna have one page. So we kind of want to like overwrite save as image. I don't know how we could do that though. Might not be able to do that. Adding fonts, removing fonts. Honestly, I think this export, we might have to use this. Or if we could set image BMP here. Why don't we try to add another button to our page? I don't know how to, ideally I would like to hook into this one, I think. And maybe like, instead of download, it could just say save. But for the interim, why don't we add a button to the page, and then when you click the button, let's try to have it print some of this data that comes from this thing and see if we can use that along with a post to post back to our backend. We need to add a button first. I do need to take one more quick break though and run to the restroom, so I will be right back. Let me switch this to the preview thing. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I will be right back again. Let me pause the music too. All right, we are back. No longer available. Yeah, well, I haven't been following along all the way. I know Aldi though, it's like at least around here they tend to be like stuff doesn't stay in stock very long because they get like, you know, closeout deals or whatever. Like if you go 1 week, they might have entirely different stuff the next time you go the next week. Stock doesn't tend to stay around for too long. Oh, ouch. Okay, so we're setting the size. So we want to add a button. I would love to add the button onto the toolbar, but I don't actually know how to do that. We might would have to make a custom toolbar, or maybe we could do this. We want to on-click? Yeah, I think we want to on-click. Click save. So that's going to be a function. Button save. And we need to define this function. We're not going to do inside of app, I don't think. Function click. Maybe we do want to do it inside of app actually. We need access to store. Yeah. Can't do it after return though. Let's just make sure it works. Console.log. Clicked. Save. What would this do? No. Got no save button in there. I think we can't really put it inside of the toolbar like that for now. It'd be great to have it end up there eventually. I think for now we will go back to this And do we want it inside of this div? Or do we want it before this div? Why does it not like that? Doesn't like there being two parents, I think. So maybe this does need to be inside this div. Okay, it showed up over here. And it did work when I clicked it. I don't think that's where we want it to end up ultimately, but it's probably good enough for now, I think. Could maybe give it some style to change the way it looks, or the location of it. Is this? JSX is used without importing React. HTML button represents a clickable button used to submit forms. Okay. What do you want me to do about it? Missing React to import. Interesting. So we could import React, I guess, but does it seem like we're using it for anything? I don't really know. And the click is working, so like this is counting up over here. If I delete and then click, we can see it printed. So I think that's fine for now. Let's leave that and let's start putting inside of here some stuff like console.log store. Was that to JSON or something? Yeah. Let's try what this one looks like. To JSON. Probably be wrapping up here before too long, but I kind of want to see if I can get this save button doing something. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. I think I saw that before. Should have used that, I think, right? Yeah. I don't know why it thinks we didn't use it. Oh. Maybe we didn't use it. Maybe that's not actually working after all. But one thing is, put these around a lot of things. No. Well, maybe. We didn't get the error. We didn't get the warnings. Yeah, but we got an error validating the key. So that did not actually work. I don't know. I don't want to chase this too long, though, truthfully, the key thing. I think it seems okay, though, because it's rendering all this stuff. I'll have to play around with that off the stream, so it's easier because I can print it and see what's in it. Figure it out from there. Let's go back to here, though. When we click, yeah, we can see what the JSON of our page is, or our store. Technically, it's a store. Try to start using the right terminology. Let's put a background. Let's put a foreground. Make it reasonably sized. And let's put a text as well. Okay. Got a background, we got a foreground image, we got a text. Clear that. Click save. Nope. JSON, not a function. Maybe store is null inside of here. No. Did I spell JSON wrong? Is it uppercase? Yeah. Oh man. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. This is all shouty. So we need to get these things back real quick. Yeah, one thing I need to really do is look into how to set the defaults for the font size, because we definitely want to default to a much smaller size for this project. There we go. So we got a fonts list, which is empty. We got a height and a width. We got a pages. It has a single page. Got an ID. It's got 2 children and a background. Okay. It's kind of funky that this is a float. Got a height and a width, and it's got an X and a Y. Okay, so this is pretty cool, actually. This is probably more... This is probably closer to what I will need to use for my actual project at work, because we actually have our own JSON structure that's kind of similar to this. What we'll need to do is basically be able to go back and forth between this and our JSON. For this PyPortal project, though, we don't think we need to do that as much. Really, the thing we want to do is be able to save it as a file into the Django model. So let's look at these other things here. Convert store into a base64 URL. Because save as image sounds promising, but the thing is, that's like prompting the user, which is not really what we want. We don't want to prompt the user to save it. We want to just save, we want to like send it to the back end. So this intrigues me. I think this might be what we need. Let's look at what that looks like. ToData URL. And let's see what that gives us. So hard to get all this stuff to fit. Normally I would probably use the floating one of these that's in a different window. Just leave that like that. Doesn't look great, but whatever. Okay. Yeah. This we could post. I'm pretty sure we could post this. It's not a way that I've ever done it before. It's always going to go to base 64 though. Django upload image base 64. Yeah, this is what we want, I think. So I probably am not going to keep going too much longer on the stream. One thing I will do though is try to post this back to the back end. What do I want to use to post? Does this just have jQuery in it? No. So on this other project, I used Axios. I never had used that before. It was pretty straightforward. But truthfully, jQuery I got more experience with. jQuery with ReactJS. Try to avoid jQuery in React, but if you really want to use it, put it in component did mount. This looks like what we want. I wonder why why this is the accepted answer. Got a lot less votes. I wonder why it says we shouldn't use. Yeah. I'm with you, Sam. Okay. I think we want to do this. So npm install jQuery --save. Okay, we need to stop this. npm install jQuery --save. What does save do? Is that going to put it in package.json or something? Yeah, it must have. It says jQuery in it now. Okay. How do we import this? From $? No, import $, from jQuery. That later. $, from jQuery. So now we can. Oh, we don't want this here though. We want this in app. Do that. What do? We'll put this in app. That. Now we should have jQuery. We can go post. Want to do post? I think we want Ajax maybe. So I want to make a new endpoint for this, or do I want to try to use my REST framework? I think I'm going to make a new endpoint because I think I need to write code in the view that's going to do this base 64 translation for me. I'm not sure REST framework will just do that. Django REST framework image upload base 64. Oh, maybe it will. Corresponding serializer. Interesting. Yeah, for sure. Catch you next time, Lay Samurai. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out. I'm probably right behind you, honestly. Be getting some food here before too long. It looks like I could maybe do this, but field picture. I think I'm gonna not try with that. Just to start with, I think I'm gonna write a view, and eventually we could see if we could just reuse the backend that's coming from that. Maybe we'd have like path create plan, because the name of my model is plan. Include, no, it's not going to be an include, it's going to be a view. So this would just be used create plan view dot as view. What is this? Create plan, that's the name of it. So we don't have this view yet. Create plan view. This is not a view set, it's a view. Doesn't need these things. Does need post request. So basically I'm just going to get this posting and see that I can print the data from it, and then that's probably where I'll call it a day for now. So we're going to post to here. We're going to say console dot, no, this is not JavaScript anymore. Print request dot post dot get image base 64. So if we send a post here with data in the field called image base 64, this should print it out. Turn, let's go JSON response. I don't know why there's two of those. Success true. This is also still Python. If we post and we have this field, it should get printed. We will return this generic response. Now from here we can say the URL is I don't really want to hard code it, but I think that's easiest for now. Create. Was it create plan? Options. You need to know how to add things to that. jQuery, Ajax, example. Data. Is there an example with data? Data. So it's an object. We would go data. No, doing this wrong. This is Ajax. It takes an object. We have method. Post. URL is this. Now data is an object. And it has image base 64, which is set to this. So we don't have data there anymore. We probably want like done so that we know if it's successful. Log response. Okay, that should do it, I think. We stopped this running to install jQuery. Oh, man. Okay. Let's add some stuff. Go ahead and float this thing. Next. All right, moment of truth. Quick save. Get this back. Oh. But the problem is we don't want to post back to local. We don't want to post to port 3000 because that's not where the backend's running. The rest of this looks fine though. So I think if we run this, build and move, and then we use this page at port 8000, the one being served by Django, it might just be there. Oh, I got this covering up the chat, sorry. I don't know how long that was there. Probably for a minute though. Sorry to keep yawning on you guys. I'm gonna be wrapping it up here real quick. So recheck on this. Okay, this copied everything. We should be able to see it now on port 8000. And when it makes the post there, it should work, I think. Or should go further. Okay. So I got a 500 internal server error. Let's look in here. Dictionary update sequence element 0 has length 1, 2 is required. I have no idea what that means. Might be just about out of brain power to figure it out also. What if we don't print? That restarted the back end. Let's just click this. Still got 500. What am I forgetting? It's weird because this is not calling into my code. Doesn't seem like. Let me make a git and see if I can find it. Backend. Okay, if we just return JSON only, this will prove whether or not the URL is hooked up right. No. Yeah, I have no idea. I've never seen that error before. I'm assuming I just did something relatively basic wrong with my view or my URL. Converting anything to a dictionary, though. Bummer. I was hoping to see this print. Okay, that sounds like us so far. This has to be name equals. Yeah. Okay, now the get works, which means the post should be going to the right spot. Let's clear this. Post. 403 forbidden. That's actually good. That means we got one step closer. The problem now is that we do not have CSRF token. Which I know roughly how to solve, but I don't think I'm going to do it right now. I think I'm running out of juice. One thing that we could do is maybe do this. This is not the final solution, but that might make it work for now. No, that's wrong. It would be on this. Okay, that looks better. Nope, still 403. Check one thing. Django CSRF exempt class-based view. Decorate the dispatch method. This looks like what we need. Yeah. Let's try. Oh, yes, we got back true. Oh, we turned the print off. Right. So close. Save once more. There it is. Okay, so now we have our image data inside of our view. We should be able to write some of this code from here to convert that base64 into a content file, and then once we have a content file, we should be able to save it on our model, which is called plan. But that is going to have to come at a different time. I think for now, this is going to call it a day. So again, thank you to all the folks who came and hung out. Thank you to Lay Samurai for reviewing this PR, and Hugo and Johnny and the whole Weblate gang, and really thank you to Doctor as well. I don't know, this might be the first time you've come and hang out with us. I appreciate seeing you around. If not, I apologize, but thanks for joining us anyway. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for now. I don't know for sure if I will go on Twitch maybe a couple times before next week. We'll see, kind of see how I'm feeling, but I'll post in the chat here if I end up doing it, kind of the same as last week. But yeah, that's gonna be all for now. Thanks folks. I appreciate all of you.